So, Kristina, we're going to probably finish today by talking about sort of how life's going now and what it's been like coming to terms with having ADHD or that being a part of your identity. So, yeah, I mean, you were talking to me a little bit about it earlier. So, what would you say is the hardest thing about knowing that some of the things you do are because of this disorder?
I think the hardest thing is coming to terms with all the things I missed out on when I was younger. Things I've already mentioned. That's probably the hardest thing. And the fact that being the age I am, it's hard to go back and sort it all out. So I have to accept it, which I don't do very well, actually, I don't think. But anyway, I have to accept it. But aside from that, actually, it's good. The good things are that I finally found my identity. I always thought I had this, all these different disconnected, unconnected traits, behaviours and thoughts, patterns and things, which were not like other people seem to be thinking and behaving and doing. And I just thought, I don't think I thought I was weird exactly, but I thought I was somehow different and didn't fit. I didn't fit into society somehow in the way that other people did. I always really wished that I was, how do people get time management? How do they do that? How do people organise things and always arrive on time and, always do things in a straight line? Their thoughts are ordered in a straight line. They can see something from beginning to end, whereas I do something from beginning to sort of 10 minutes and then do something else and something else. And if I'm mowing the lawn, I can never do stripes. My lawn mowing is like that and like that, stop and have a cup of tea, go back, do another bit.
Yeah.
And my whole life's been like that, a bit piecemeal. I think if I had been diagnosed early and perhaps had some medication, I would have been able to sort it out a bit better. But having said that, I don't actually consider it to be a mental disorder, really. I consider it to be just me. I'm glad I've had it identified. As I said, when I filled in that questionnaire, and it was just me. It was extraordinary. And I thought, my God, this all makes sense. It's so wonderful for it to make sense.
Yeah.
And then, as I said, it was my daughter that sent me this questionnaire. And to be able to have somebody to talk to about it who was sympathetic and empathetic and, I think it's helped our relationship, which is lovely. We can laugh about it a bit now, she recognises things in me and sends me funny cartoons and all that sort of thing. And it's good. So I think that's good. Also, I think it's trying to make me stronger. As I said, I've been trying to manage without any medication. Perhaps I will try it one day, but so far I just think, no, I'm not going to be a victim. I just don't want to be a victim. Now I know. Now I can make sense of it all. I can actually try to do something about it. It's a bit like alcoholics who go to Alcoholics Anonymous. They can't actually get to grips with their alcoholism until they finally admitted that that's what they are. That's why they have to stand up and say, I am so-and-so and I am an alcoholic. And I suppose I should be standing up and saying, well, that's what I'm doing today, probably, saying I'm Kristina and I've got ADHD. And I wouldn't say I'm exactly proud of it, but I'm not ashamed of it. It's me, it's who I am, and I recognise that other people, I'm not just, I used to think I was very alone. I think that's just suddenly dawned on me. I don't think I really thought about that before, but I used to feel very alone. That I must be the only person on the planet with all these slightly strange traits that don't fit in anything, don't fit anywhere. I just don't behave like other people or think like other people. I can't do things like other people. My thoughts are all over the place, and nobody seems to be like that. But actually, I realise now there are lots of people like that, and that's actually very comforting. So yes, it's got its good sides. Things being able to find my identity, being able to try to overcome it in some way, not overcome it, but just accept it and get to grips with it and deal with it, and know that if I do a certain thing, it's because of ADHD, and actually I can accept it and maybe try to change it next time.
Mm-hmm.
I think I am better with deadlines now because I've accepted that that's one of the traits, and so I kind of adjusted my behaviour. I don't know why I didn't do that in the first place. I just used to think I was rubbish at timekeeping. I mean, I'm still pretty rubbish at timekeeping, but I have got some strategies in place now to be a bit better.
Mm-hmm. Is it perhaps because you know you need that now without any doubt? You sort of accept
well, I
it?
think it's because I don't want to go on the medication, and I think, well, for now I don't anyway. And I just think, if you're not going to go on medication and you don't want to be like this, you've got to do something else.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to sort it. So yeah, I put things on the calendar. We've got a calendar, and I actually remember to put things on it. Trouble is, I don't always remember to look at it, so it doesn't actually help necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm getting better at that. You've got to get into these habits. And I find that quite difficult because I find repetitive, like habity things, I tend to do, as I said, all over the place. So doing something at a certain time every day, it's not easy. But I have made time to look at the calendar, and I don't think I've forgotten anything very important, so that's good. I do remember once, years ago, I completely and utterly forgot to go to lunch with a friend.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt terrible about that. She was waiting for me in a restaurant, and I got a text, and this was in the early days of mobile phones, but I got a text, and she said, "Where are you?" And I was at home, totally forgotten.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to admit it.
Yeah.
And what I did do, she went home to her house, and I just felt so awful. And I got in my car, and I went to her house with a massive bouquet of flowers.
Oh.
I just said, "I'm so sorry." And I have done a few things like that. And I don't want to keep doing them. It's awful.
Mm-hmm.
Awful. So, yeah, when you let people down, that makes you feel really bad.
Yeah.
And I hate doing that. But yeah, it has an impact on relationships. I don't think I've always been the easiest of people to live with. My husband's quite understanding in many ways. He, as I said, he drove me to Maudsley first of all when I got diagnosed.
Mm-hmm.
But he doesn't always understand. He still gets irritated with me when I forget things. And he says things like, "You just don't listen." And I'm never quite sure what to say when he says that to me, because then I think I should respond with, "Well, you know why I can't listen, why I'm not listening, because, I find it difficult to actually concentrate on listening, because I can hear things there, and I can see things there, and there's thoughts going around in my head the whole time. I mean, my senses are very acute. So the slightest noise drives me bonkers.
Yeah.
And if there is a bit of a noise that is distracting me, then I can't concentrate. And I should say to him, really, "Well, you know why I can't concentrate, because I've got ADHD." But then I think, that's making me a victim, isn't it? It's like saying, "Oh, you've got to feel sorry for me. You've got to treat me with kid gloves, and I'm ill." So I don't say anything to him. I just sort of say it quietly to myself. I think, well, I know why I'm not listening. If you can't accept it, then you'll just have to. So, sometimes he gets a bit irritated, which I can understand. But I think he's getting better, actually, at realising why I forget things a lot. And he gets irritated with me when we go anywhere because he thinks I'm always late. And I've said to him, "Look, the way to handle this, to help me, is don't mention a time."
Yeah.
If he says to me, "So what time should we leave then?" and I say 12:30, then he's ready for 12:30. I probably am not ready till 1:00.
Yeah.
So I've said to him, "Look, we can't go on like this. I'm not going to mention any times. We'll leave when we leave. That's it." And that is one way around it. We just don't mention times.
Yeah.
Because otherwise we'll fall out, probably.
Yeah.
It's funny, my husband and I, we used to go out when we were teenagers. And then we broke up and went our separate ways, and we didn't get back together again properly until 2012. But he remembers from our relationship way back when that I was always late for things.
Wow.
And that I was always really chatty, and that I was always in a muddle and a mess and talked a lot. And he loved me for all those things. He said I was like nobody he'd ever known before, which makes sense because obviously he'd never known anybody with ADHD before. But of course I didn't know I had it then. But he remembered me all those years, and then we got back together again on Facebook by Facebook in 2012, and we arranged a meeting on the 27th of February 2012. First time we'd met in 20-something years. And I was late.
I knew you were going to say that. Yeah.
We'd arranged to meet at, I think it was 9:15 in the morning. And he was driving from somewhere to get to the location where we were supposed to be meeting. And I texted him about 9:20. He said, I knew what it was going to be. He said, it's going to be her, and she's going to be telling me she's late. And he said he just sat there and he laughed. He said, she hasn't changed. So that was really funny. So, yeah.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So, if I'd known sort of all those years ago, I mean, all the traits were there. But you see, it had its advantages because he said I was unique.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like nobody he'd ever met before. That's what he said. And he loved my bubbliness and chattiness. And, yeah, he said you were just different. You know, you were just...
Yeah. Yeah.
And we're married now and we're very happy. So I think ADHD has some definitely good points to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I think the one thing everybody has to be careful with, whether it's ADHD or autism or whatever it is, and I remember teaching this in psychology, is a chap called Rosenhan who did a lot of work on schizophrenia, the stickiness, as he called it, of diagnostic labels.
Ah. Mm-hmm.
So when you're given a diagnostic label, medical label, it sticks.
Yeah.
And people can then treat you like that and think of you as a victim and think of you as not worth knowing. You know, she's got depression or she's got schizophrenia, could be dangerous, you know, keep away from her or him. And these labels don't tend to go easily. That's what he meant by the stickiness. So actually, I have to say, I'm here now telling, I don't know how many people are going to see this, but I haven't told anybody in my circle.
Oh, really?
No, nobody.
Oh.
I am actually still worried about reaction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I don't think people understand. That's more to the point. I'm quite happy to be here because obviously everybody here understands.
Mm-hmm.
But in my circle, I don't think they would.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be seen as a victim. I mean, what would be the point of me telling people? I've got ADHD, I say to my friend down the road. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, my friends like me or love me for who I am. They don't know what I've got. I don't see any reason to change that.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Perhaps I should be shouting it. Well, I am shouting it to the world, aren't I?
Yeah.
So if any of my friends watch this, now you know. But yeah, I've never told people.
Yeah.
I think the only people that know are my husband and my kids. That's it.
Yeah.
And you.
Yeah. Well, we feel very privileged. Yeah. So perhaps a final question maybe could be, what do you think is actually good about having received your diagnosis so like much later in life than other people?
Gosh. Well, I'm at a stage in life where I don't have to go to work. Very privileged there. My husband and I have got a few rental properties and we get income from those. And we do a little bit of part-time tutoring. I do a little bit of part-time tutoring still. But I'm at a wonderful stage in life where I don't have to get up and get that train to London at 7 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to have that report on somebody's desk at 11. Mm-hmm. I don't have to be back from lunch at 1:30. Yeah. I don't have to be in a meeting at 3. I don't have to mark lots of papers. I don't have to do any of those things. Mm-hmm. And I think ADHD suits retirement. If you're gonna have ADHD, have it in retirement because you're more or less your own person, and you don't have to stick to so many deadlines.
Yeah.
There are still deadlines, you know. Obviously, people say come round at 7. We usually go round at 7:30. But hey, you know, you have to be fashionably late in England, don't you?
Anyway, yeah. So it's like
actually there is a problem. One problem. I'm half Swedish, and we go to Sweden a lot. I've got a place out there. I've been going to Sweden all my life. And Sweden is very different from England with regards to deadlines. If you go to somebody's house for dinner, like in this country, if they say 7, you turn up maybe 10 past. You know, you get the nibbles, you get a drink, and then you sit down, you have a chat, and then you sit down. Dinner at 8, maybe? Yeah. No, in Sweden, if they say 7, they mean 7, and you go straight to the table.
Wow.
And I have had relations pacing up and down the drive at 2 minutes past.
Wow.
Looking at their watch.
Oh my goodness.
Awful.
Yeah.
Actually, going to Sweden is a huge challenge for me. Because I have to be on time to things, because otherwise people just think you're incredibly rude.
Yeah. Wow. That's, like, obviously being late here is sometimes rude, but not quite as bad as that. Yeah.
No, as I said, here we have this thing, fashionably late. There's no fashionably late in Sweden. You're just late. Fashion doesn't come into it. So, yeah, that is a challenge, and I have been known to be late in Sweden. Very, very late, actually. I won't recount it, but I can think of one incident where I was so ridiculously late that I actually completely lost the friends.
Wow. Oh wow, that's hard. Yeah.
I thought the trouble with me is I think, and I suppose it must be the same for a lot of ADHDers, I still think I can do all these things in a frame of time, and I can't. I'm convinced myself I can. It'll be all right. I can do this, 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 and we can still be there at that time. And it never works. Very rarely. But I still can't get it into my head that it won't work. But, you know, other people sort of build in all these other different things. But I don't see them somehow. I just think, you know, I don't know.
Don't see all the steps to that will need to happen.
I just imagine what I want to do in an afternoon and do it, and then still think I can be somewhere at 6, and it doesn't happen. So I don't know. I just have to adjust a bit somehow. I am learning, a bit late in life, but I am learning. But I think actually having it now is not as having ADHD now is suits me, because, as I said, I don't have to stick to so many deadlines. But I said to my daughter today that I don't feel as if I've got necessarily something wrong with me. I think it's just ADHD doesn't suit the culture we live in. We live in this very time obsessed, paperwork obsessed, deadlines obsessed, targets obsessed world, and that's not actually how we're meant to be. So I look at myself and think I'm how humans are meant to be. I'm quite proud of that.
And if it was, you know, society was still pre-industrial, pre-agriculture,
it would be fine.
Yeah.
All those societies when they don't worry about getting commuter trains and having reports in at certain times and picking the kids up at 4 and all this. I mean, there are societies like that. Blissful. And you can have ADHD there and be as happy as anything. But in our society, it doesn't seem to work. You've got to have all this structure and deadlines, and you've got to think in straight lines as opposed to like this. Yeah. I mean, you know, if I do something, I have to... I can finish things. I'm not very good at finishing things. I can think of lots of things, photo albums, things to do with the kids. I regret that. There are a lot of unfinished things in my life, but a lot of things I have learned to finish. I've tried to discipline myself, but I can't usually do them in one go. Yeah. So I start something and then do something else and then go back to it. Well, like I said about the Open University essays, and then do something else and then go back to it and then do something else. And I have about 10 irons in the fire. Yeah. And that's probably why I never get anything finished, because I'm doing 6 things at, you know, sort of more or less at the same time, and not really finishing any of them. Yeah. Decorating is a classic. There's always that last strip of wallpaper or bit of paint that I can't go back to things. Yeah. And oh dear. I mean, decorating is just a nightmare. It really is. I just find it so boring.
Mm-hmm.
Painting a wall. I mean, you'd think this would be simple, wouldn't you?
Mm.
I had a wall like this with sockets and things. They're a bit tricky because you've got to go around them.
Yeah.
And got the old roller out, and I had to do. The thing is, you do it once and it's not good enough. It grins through the other. You know, so you have to do another 2 or 3 coats. And I got to the second coat, and I was going mad. I was tearing my hair out, and I got in such a state. And my husband said, "For God's sake," he said, "I'll do it." So I can't stand this anymore. And I felt a bit of a failure because I said, "No, I want to do this room." I thought I've got to prove that I can do it, but actually, I couldn't do it. So he did the third coat, as I just couldn't bear it anymore. I just found it too dull. Looks nice now.
Yeah.
But I did do another wall, and I did 2 of the undercoats. But yeah, it's hard. It is quite hard.
Yeah.
I just wish I could. I do so admire people who can do something and sustain it. For, like marathon runners. What's all that about? And all that training.
Yeah.
Dear, what is it in their brains that people can do these incredible feats and, the hours of preparation they put in.
Yeah, it is impressive, isn't it?
10 minutes is a long time for me.
Yeah.
Actually, I've sat here for it, but you see, I'm talking.
Yeah.
And it's a different thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Well, thank you so much for talking to us, and especially
thank you for asking me.
For coming. If you haven't seen the other video, Kristina has come from Kent today. So that Kent to Leeds, that's a long way. So thank you very, very much. And I hope your journey back is very easy and smooth.
Thank you.
Thank you.